These mushroom logs have totally had it. They have turned to powder. Today we're going to show you guys how to inoculate logs and make your own shiitake mushroom logs on your own property. Stoney Ridge Farm. Woo! Fun guy! Today's fun guy day here. I'm a fun guy, you're a fun guy or gal or whatever. Today we're gonna be inoculating some logs and making our shiitake mushroom logs. Guys, we've had shiitake mushroom logs on the farm for about 4 years now, and the logs that I made about 4 years ago have totally petered out. They're not producing any more shiitake mushrooms. So I dropped a few trees that I had to drop anyway because we're clearing out for a septic system for a new barn dominium home, and right in here are part of the logs that I harvested. This is from twofunguys.com. I'll post a link down in the video description. They are not sponsoring this video. FlexiSpot, however, is sponsoring today's video. That is an ergonomic desk system. We're setting up our office here on the farm, and FlexiSpot is an integral part of that. You'll see that in just a minute. What we're going to be doing right now is inoculating our mushroom logs. So for demonstration purposes, we're down here in the woods. We can set these mushroom plugs down for just a second as we start to drill out our holes. This is a 5/16 inch bit, and all these instructions come with the mushroom plugs, but I think it's interesting and fun to learn from somebody else that's doing it. I will talk to you, so stick around to the end. We're going to talk a little bit about placement of your logs, where you want to place them to get your mushrooms to bloom. This is going to take months, okay guys? That's why I say do it year after year after year. So what we're going to do basically is take our mushroom logs, and we're going to go about every 6 inches, 4 to 6 inches, and we're going to drill a hole. And that's it. We're just going to go right on down the line here, drill down to our perspective spot where our tape stops us from drilling. So what we're doing is inoculating the log, okay? Important to know that. You can't put too many. You can't put too few, but putting too few will probably reduce your chances of getting some good mushrooms out of this log. So that's one log fully cut up. There's a hole about every 6 inches or so all the way around. Typically what I like to do is do a line up here, roll it, line, 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 but I kind of like to displace them a little uneven. So we're going to set this one to the side. We're going to grab one of our white oaks and do the same exact thing. White oak takes longer to decay than that maple will take. And the sap has risen again in these white oaks. So these are live trees. You do not want to inoculate trees that were laying on the ground dead. It's unfortunate that we had to cut these, but I needed to clear them out anyway. They were in the way. So we're going to go again. You can tell that wood's a little harder. Virtually everywhere you drill a hole, that will be where a mushroom comes out. Again, stick around to the end. We're going to talk about placement of the logs because that's super important. Now, pro tip, what would have been smarter? Drilling all those holes or drilling one test hole and trying to knock it in? This is called a dead blow hammer. And this dead blow hammer, basically when it hits, it doesn't bounce. So we're going to go ahead and knock one in. Perfect. It's the perfect depth, and I'll show you all that here in just a second. Now, Josh, why do you have these 4 to 5 foot sections of log? Because if they were any bigger, they would be too big to wrestle. They'd be too big to handle. You want them anywhere from 4 to 8, even 10 inches around. You could even inoculate an old stump. If you just cut the tree down, you could inoculate a stump and try that out. You can try all sorts of stuff. It's your place. You can do what you want to do. Next step in this process is going to be knocking in our mushroom tabs. Now make sure either your hands are earthy or you just wash your hands, and we're going to knock in our little mushroom dowels. Pretty simple stuff. We're just going to knock them in as flush as we possibly can. If you use a big old hammer, you're not going to get them in like you should. So if you use a great big hard hammer, you're probably going to damage the mushroom plugs. If you use a smaller drill bit, you're going to damage the mushroom plug. So we're just filling every single hole that we just drilled out. Guys, if you like this kind of content, please hit that like button. Share this content with like-minded people. If you got some friends that were talking about growing mushrooms, share this with them. I think it's interesting content, and this is the way I do it, and this works. Guys, today's video is brought to you in part by the desk that I'm sitting on that's raising me up. This is called FlexiSpot, and this is a testimony to how tough this desk is. Guys, we're building a farm office here on the Stoney Ridge farm, and we need office furniture. As I'm working in my farm office and as I'm working out on the farm, it puts a tremendous strain on my back. Nothing worse for your back than sitting in a chair all day. So we've got the C7 ergonomic chair, and we've got the E7 Pro desk right here with wireless charger. This is the bamboo top with wireless charger. This has a capacity of 440 pounds. It just lifted me right up off the ground. And also the chair has a capacity of 330 pounds. Super ergonomic, super easy on your back. FlexiSpot. There'll be a link down in the video description. A huge shout out to FlexiSpot for supporting rural content and supporting my back and keeping my back from being in pain. This is what we'll be using for the farm office once we get everything built here on the farm. There'll be a link down the video description for you guys and a link across the bottom of the screen to FlexiSpot. You'll love this stuff, guys. Just check it out. You can also create an ergonomic workbench. So I don't know how many of you guys have experienced the need for a workbench to be up higher. Most everything is built for the average size person, and I'm 6'5", so to be able to have a workbench that I can raise up, and I've got one over here built out as a workbench, FlexiSpot is the answer. Raise up your workbench, 440-pound capacity, and tough as nails, guys. Let's go plant some mushroom logs. I will say, don't leave these in the refrigerator all winter long like I did. You're gonna reduce your chances of success. These comes in bags of 100, and the bag of 100 is a plenty, okay? I have 4 bags of 100, and that's why I have so many logs here on the side-by-side, because I'm gonna be doing this for quite some time after we get done with our video portion today. This is a fun Sunday project with your family. It's a fun Sunday project with anybody. And it's just a great time. So when you get done watching this video, order yourself some of these. You'll have some fun with it. I'm telling you, even if you live on a small property or just have a little backyard, you can still grow your own mushrooms. We've got some mushroom foraging videos coming out soon also, guys. Here's a big chunk of mycelium. I'm just gonna stick that right in that hole there. Another one right in that hole. And you'll see this log is just a little bit smaller. It's okay. It's just not gonna last as long. Some of these will grow, some of these won't. That's just it. It's not like planting tomatoes in your backyard. My dad planted his mushroom logs and didn't put them in the right place about 2 years ago, and he's yet to get but 1 mushroom off of his logs. I told him, hey bro, don't seal the ends. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that say to seal off this end of the log. Don't seal that end off. You want the moisture to come in. You want it to rot. His thought process was it'll rot slower if I seal the end. Well, if it rots slower, you get mushrooms slower, right? That's 2 logs inoculated. Next step, let's take you guys through the next step. We're gonna cover each one of these with some wax. So you can use paraffin wax or you can use beeswax. We've got some beeswax over here from my honeybees when we harvested honey last year. This is my beeswax. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be super clean. It's just beeswax, okay? We're just gonna take our beeswax, move your drill though first, and dab it on the tops of each one of these inoculated little holes, okay? If you're gonna do this in the woods, I recommend bringing a double boiler. This is a special container just for cooking down wax. I did bring it down here earlier, and the wax started to harden up before I could get it in place. Guys, be sure you subscribe to the channel. We're gonna do some wild mushroom foraging very soon. It's morel season. We've got some great videos I'll attach to the end of this video showing you guys how to forage for wild mushrooms. You will absolutely love that. If you're into mushrooms, or if this is your first introduction to mushrooms, you are going to find yourself in a fun adventure with your family. Get out of the house, get into the woods, and learn a little bit about nature and mushrooms and mycelium and fungus, because the entire world that we live in that's living is based upon fungus. That's one completely covered. We got one more. Here we go. That's it. Let's go ahead and put this back on the heat. Now, let's talk about placement of your inoculated log. This log is completely inoculated. The ends are not painted and it's a little rotten on the end, so this one should produce mushrooms pretty quickly. What I've learned, okay? So, first thing I did, the first batch of mushrooms that I inoculated, here's what I did. I took them and I just laid them out on the ground. And what that did was allow the moisture to wick up from the ground, and you want to put these in a shady spot on your property. It allowed the moisture to wick up from the ground and into the log, okay? But I didn't get any mushrooms on the bottom side of the log because it was laying down. So the way that you need to do this, and we're gonna be building a mushroom area here on the farm, up that hillside right there where it's cool down here on the creek. But for ease of operation, just sit it down like so, and lean it against a tree or lean it against a fence, guys. Just sit it down where you have ground contact right here, okay? Sit it in a place where it will not fall over. You can set these all throughout, leaned up against trees all throughout the forest. But you need, for this, to slowly seep into the ground and to wick up moisture. That's the entire goal. So that's how you inoculate mushroom logs. It's just super easy, guys. It's super fun. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you back here. Check out the link to FlexiSpot. I'll post that down here in the video description. Awesome desk situation. Save your back. Always save your back. Try to work smart. Guys, that's how you inoculate mushroom logs here in 2024 on the Stoney Ridge Farm. We're down here by our beautiful waterfall. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. All right. Woo! Well, come on down to the Stoney Ridge. Bring your wife and bring your kids. We're living life pure and sweet. That's the way it's supposed to be, Stoney Ridge. I forgot my hammer, but that's okay. We've got something down here we can do that with. Why'd I forget my hammer? How are you gonna forget a hammer? How you gonna make a video about something and forget a hammer this morning? Ah, I got blasted by wax.